السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Good morning, Assalamu alaikum. Can anyone please confirm the audio screen share? شباب إذا كنتوا كتسمعوني please say salam, say something. Okay, good. So I feel like we are all in the loop. شباب إذا كنتوا كتسمعوني please say salam, say something. Okay, good. Okay. There's 1 more minute, we'll get started. Okay. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله شباب. مرحبا بكم في الحلقة الثانية أو الأسبوع الثاني، الدرس الثاني. Welcome to the second week and the first session of the second week. In the first week we learned about why do we need to invest to become a data scientist. So that is the first topic that we explored with much more details. So if you missed that session, the recording is available on the YouTube, in my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to it and share the link with your network. Let's share the knowledge with our friends and the one we love. If you have not yet, if you don't have access to the Canvas, as I said, you could access my recording through my YouTube channel. If you have access to Canvas, you can also have access to the recording through Canvas. Accessing the program through Canvas will help you, or will give you access to not only the recording but also the training materials. And if you are planning to take the exam and do the capstone project and go after the certificate that will be issued by Cadi Ayyad University, then you really need to have access to the Canvas. Okay folks, so we'll come to week number 2. In this week we are going to learn how do we start an analytical project, and this is a crucial point, or crucial elements, or crucial starting point that we as data scientists need to master it. Otherwise probably would lead us to something, to somewhere that we were not desired to be in or to be at. So today we are going to learn understanding the problem, understanding the business, and then next week then we are going to move into some technical sessions where we are going to learn the foundation of programming in Python, and after that everything is going to be smooth, back to smooth. So today we are going to learn about we are going to have an introduction to the CRISP-DM, which is going to be the methodology that we will be using in this analytical project. And CRISP-DM is not the only methodology that you could utilize. You could use whatever methodology that works best for you. But trust me guys, CRISP-DM as a methodology is one of the best methodologies used in the analytic projects. In the analytic project, as far as I know. And as I said, there are many methodologies that you can utilize. We are going to talk about a few of them, but we are going to concentrate on the one that we are going to be using. And after that, we are going to learn about the process, the steps, the phases involved in this CRISP-DM. CRISP-DM هي منهجية أو طريقة اللي نقدروا نستعملوها باش نتأكدوا تماما بأننا في الطريق ديال إنهاء بروجكت، مشروع ذكاء اصطناعي أول بأول. إلا ما عندناش منهجية نقدروا نزيغوا في الطريق، نقدروا نمشيو شي بلاصة أخرى اللي تضيع علينا وقت، وفي التالي ما غاديش نوصلوا لأي نتيجة. لا بد من منهجية، وهكاين بزاف ديال المنهجيات، وأفضل منهجية اللي حسب علم متواضع هي واحد المنهجية كتسمى CRISP-DM. CRISP-DM stands for Cross Industry Standard Processing for Data Mining. ديروا جوجلوها وتعلموها، وراه عندي بزاف ديال المعلومات عليها إن شاء الله تعالى. I will share them with you. So we are going to learn about this CRISP-DM. We are going to learn about the processes involved. We are going to learn about the phases. Then we are going to have an introduction to machine learning and deep learning. What is machine? Because we will be using machine learning later. We are going to have an introduction to machine learning. And of course, we are going to have an introduction to deep learning. Tomorrow, which is the session number 2, then we are going to apply this CRISP-DM that we are going to learn today. We are going to apply it on a real problem. A problem that we are going to learn how to tackle. Of course, this problem is being supported by data, so we are going to learn how to fix, how to find the solution using algorithms, using machine learning. So I need a volunteer, please. I need a volunteer, please, to as we did last week, to go through the chat. So I need someone to go through the chat and simply try to. Number 1, please, I need someone to block anyone sharing anything that is not appropriate. So let me I need to remove. Okay, I need to remove someone who I've seen someone in chat that is not appropriate. My apologies. So I need a volunteer who can please summarize this chats and simply chat with me through WhatsApp, and I will go through them in WhatsApp. So I have 2 screens, so I'm going to switch from here to there, simply to make sure that I'm addressing everything as planned. Okay, so let me check. Yeah, Zakaria, thank you so much. I really appreciate your help. So please go through the chat, summarize the chat, and I'll take them. I don't have time. I really don't have time to monitor the chats and while I'm talking to you guys. So that is the plan. So this is the plan for this week and tomorrow. I'm sorry, this today and tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to have a real problem, and we are going to apply. We are going to try to start framing that problem, and looking for a better solution. So in this 15-week program, the aim is to help you understand the process of starting an analytical project from the beginning all the way to the end, from the concept to completion. من الفكرة إلى تطبيق باستعمال لغة البايثون, using the Python programming language. Okay, so that is the plan, and if you have a question, please feel free to ask your to post your question, or to send us your question through WhatsApp. That is the only way to communicate with you, unfortunately, through this YouTube channel. Okay, so here we go. Okay, folks, so I need your help. Can anyone please confirm in the chat if you can see my screen? Please confirm. Just do that on the chat, please. Yeah, I'm looking to the chat. I want to see some thumbs up. Just do thumbs up, or do yes if you can see my screen. I know there is a delay, unfortunately. Okay, thank you guys. Okay, good. So today we are going to talk about the analytical process. We are going to talk about the macro versus micro methodology. I'm gonna do my best to explain the CRISP DM. So this is the methodology we'll be using. We are going to talk about the CRISP DM loops. Why do we need to loop? Then of course we are going to talk about the CRISP DM limitations, and we are going to have an introduction to machine learning and introduction to deep learning. We are not going to have a deep learning in this program, but we are going to have, I don't know yet, but we could, towards the end of the program, we could have one example of deep learning. So in general, as data scientist, if I were to hire you as data scientist, I would simply hire you. I would hire you for one simple responsibility, one simple things, and that is to help me as a business owner, to help me make a better decision for my business. That is the only reason why I would invest a lot of money to bring you in, is I want you to help me make decisions, better decisions for my business, for my company, based on the data. So it's only about the data. So I want you to help me make a better decisions based on the data. When we are, as a data scientist, when we are thinking about making a decision through data, we are actually talking about three themes. We are talking about three themes. The first theme is, as data scientists, how do we start? How do we frame the decision? So I know that as data scientist, I've been hired by XYZ company, and this XYZ company, they are expecting some insight from the data to make better decisions. So from my perspective as data scientist, I have to understand what is this decision that the business, how do we help the business make a better decision. So there are three themes that we need to concentrate, that we need to understand, that we need to develop and work on. Number one is framing this decision. In framing this decision is simply asking questions about this decision. Why the business is trying to do this? What the business has been doing in the past before they decided to implement analytics. So this is simply a few questions that you would ask as data scientists to help you understand the decision that the business is planning to apply or planning to make using your experience through data. That is called framing a decision. The second theme is analyzing this decision. Once we understand the decision that the business is trying to make, then we need to analyze it. Then we need to get the data, analyze the data, frame the problem, analyze the data, clean the data, prepare the data for the analysis, examine the data, fix the quality of the data, apply some statistical analysis on the data, trying to understand the data better, applying some descriptive analytics, applying some data visualization, apply some the scientific method on the data to extract, torture the data scientifically to extract insight, to extract meaningful insight, meaningful information, and share those information with the business. And finally, once we have a decision is ready, then we need to determine how we are going to be implemented that decision. Some decisions, they are implemented, they have to be implemented into production, they have to be automated. Some decisions, they are simply provided in terms of action plan to the business. Hey business, this is your problem, this is the data they provided, this is what I found, and I recommend that you do 1, 2, and 3, and 4. This is simply an action plan that you provide to the business based on what you found on the data and based on your interpretation to what you found in the data. So when trying to help when you be hired as data scientist, you are actually trying to help the business make a better decisions. And to help business make a better decisions, we as data scientists, we need to think about 3 themes within this decision making. We are thinking about how to frame that decision, how to analyze that decision, and how to implement that decision. So I'm going to check the chat to see if you guys have any question. Okay, I can help. Okay, so no questions yet in the chat. Okay, so as data scientists, we are going to need 4 things to work. We are going to need 4 things to work in analytical project. كعلماء بيانات نحتاجوا 4 الحوايج باش يمكن لنا نبداو مشروع ذكاء اصطناعي. Number 1, we are going to need data. هاد البيانات راه كتجي من مجموعة ديال resources. It could be sourced out of social media, Excel files. It could be scattered somewhere on the servers of the business. It could be anywhere. So we are going to need data. وحنا عارفين بأن عندنا بيانات. Number 2, we have to use most likely we are going to be using some scientific methods. Means we'll be using some modeling. It could be scientific methods, it could be statistical analysis. Scientific methods, here we are talking about algorithms, and when we are talking about algorithms, we are talking about supervised learning, classification, supervised learning regression, unsupervised learning, clustering analysis, recommender system, association rules, A/B testing, time series analysis. So we got a dozen of algorithms that we can utilize. They already been built. It's mathematically they are built. They are being, those mathematical functions, they have been transformed into Python or R codes. So they've been tested, they've been developed, they've been transformed into packages. Of course, you simply can import those packages and install a random. So we know what to use, we know what models to use, and then we know what we are expecting. So we have a problem. So you've been hired as data scientist. This is a scenario. You are a data scientist. You got a job as data scientist. You've been hired as data scientist. You know the business you know the problem that the business is struggling with. You know the business that the problem that the business is trying to fix. So you need 4 ingredients. You need 4 ingredients. أربعة الخلطات to fix that problem. Number 1, you are going to need the data. Number 2, you are going to need a model. Number 3, you are going to need the output. Then the only thing that we need to determine is the hidden variables. That is the only thing that we need to find, to explore, we need to discover through the data. يعني عندك 4 الخلطات، عندك البيانات، وعندك المودلز اللي راح تستعمل، وعارف اشنو بغيتي دير. عارف مثلا بغيتي دير كلاسيفيكيشن، بغيتي دير كلاسترين، بغيتي ريجريشن، بغيتي دير شحال من حاجه. اللي ما عارفش هي العلاقات الرياضيه المخفيه اللي كتربط هاد الاليمنتس ديال البيانات. So you know the data. You already know the data, and you are going to know the data. You are going to spend time in knowing your data, number 1. Number 2, you know few models that you are going to use. You know them. Otherwise, you are not going to be a data scientist. And number 3, you know what the business is expecting. The only thing that you don't know is the mathematical, the hidden, the underlying mathematical relationships between the elements of the data, and that is what you are going to will be trying to discover. So once you have this, the mathematical, the underlying, the hidden mathematical relationships and correlations and whatever you call them, that's what you are going to use to predict, or that's what we are going to use on unknown, unseen data. That is what we are going to use to predict the future. Okay, in real life, when you are working, as I said, on a problem, you are going to need a methodology. And one of the most common methodology that you could use is CRISP-DM, which stands for Cross Industry Standard Processing for Data Mining. هذه منهجية كتستعمل بزاف في المشاريع ديال اناليتكس، ديال التحاليل. ولكن كاينين منهجيات بزاف. كاين مثلا scientific method، كاين دلتا، كاين AIA، كاين مات سكيلز، كاينين بزاف. ولكن هذه is the most used. CRISP-DM is the most used approach or the methodology in the analytical projects. منين انت كعالم بيانات بادي في مشروع، كتفكر في 2 الحوايج. يعني you are looking for the micro methodologies. اشنو هي المنهجيه اللي تستعمل؟ macro methodologies كما شرط. كاين بزاف ديال المنهجيات. كاين scientific research methodology، وهاد scientific research methodology كتبدا بسؤال. Form the search question, then state one or more hypotheses, then examine or refine hypothesis, investigate, collect the data, then analyze and generalize. هذه كتسمى scientific method. يعني منهجية كتبع scientific method، يعني علمية. المنهجية الثانية اللي تقدر تستعمل، ما غاديش تستعملهم كاملين، انت غادي تختار اللي المنهجية اللي تعجبك، لكن حنا غادي نركزوا على المنهجية اللي كتستعمل في علوم البيانات والذكاء الاصطناعي يعني في الارتيفيشال انتليجنس اند داتا ساينس. المنهجيه الثانيه كتسمى الاوبريشن ريسيرش ميثودولوجي ميثود. refine the problem يعني كتبدا بالمشكل ثم كنبنيو الموديل ثم يعني كنلقاو الحل عاد كنتيستيو يعني تيست ثم ديبلوي الى كان كل شيء جرين. كاين واحد الميثودولوجي كتسمى الوارفول ميثود. كنجمعوا ريكوايرمنت يعني الا بغينا نديرو وارفول ميثود كنجمعوا ريكوايرمنت ديال هذا المشكل اللي بغينا نحلو حنا كعلماء بيانات ثم we design a solution we implemented a solution عاد كنديرو verification and maintenance. لكن the one that we are going to use is called CRISP-DM. CRISP-DM كنبداو ب business understanding. CRISP-DM we start with understanding the problem. إلا ما عرفتيش المشكل راه من المستحيلات باش تلقى الحل. If you don't understand the problem, there is no way you can design a solution. So we start by understanding the problem first. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take us to understand the problem, but we have to understand the problem if we were to design a successful solution. منين كنفهموا المشكل عاد كنقولوا لهم اعطيونا البيانات give us the data. Then we are going to spend time understanding the data. كاين بزاف ديال الطرق اللي نقدروا نستعملوا باش نفهموا هذه البيانات. نقدر نديروا statistical analysis one way, second way descriptive analytics, third way we could do data visualization. يعني كاين بزاف ديال الطرق اللي نقدروا نستعملوها باش نفهموا العناصر ديال البيانات، العناصر الصغيره ديال البيانات. يعني خصنا ماشي غير نفهموا البيانات، خصنا نفهموا البيانات وكيفاش البيانات مرتبطه والعلاقات بين البيانات والنوع ديال البيانات كاع شي خصنا نفهموها قبل ما نفكروا في شي حل. So we need to understand the data, and when in the process of understanding the data فهاد العمليات فهم البيانات كنلقاو المشاكل في البيانات، كنلقاو بان هاد شي element شي عناصر ديال البيانات ماشي هي هذيك خصنا غادي نقادوها قبل ما نديروا لها تحاليل. So we need and the process of understanding the data we need to prepare تهيئ البيانات. We need to prepare this data, make it ready. We need to check its quality, making sure that this quality, the data quality is as good as needed. Then after that, then it's time for applying machine learning, deep learning is simply modeling. Then once we have, then we are going to do some modeling. We are going to evaluate, test, improve the quality of those models. And at the end of the day, we are going to have only one model. So we are going to build, as data scientists, we need to keep trying many different approaches. We need to try different approaches, different data pre-processing techniques. We need to try different models with different parameters. We need to try different learnable parameters like data, features, data size, etc. So we need to keep trying until we find something that has a meaning. So once we determine the best model with the best parameters, of course we are going to evaluate and we are going to test before, and if everything goes good, then we are going to communicate the finding with the business and start deploying the model into production if the model requires deployment. Okay, folks, so let me check. I'm going to stop here. I need to check the chat to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Okay, Zakaria, no questions for now. Thank you, sir. Okay, folks, so as I said, the first thing that we need to determine is the macro methodology. The second thing is the micro methodology. We know that we are going to do CRISP-DM, but what is exactly we are doing CRISP-DM? Are we Do we need to simply explore whatever the problem is, whatever data is, just explore it? In other words, do we need to apply some business intelligence, trying to answer questions that happened in the past? Simply where, when, what, how. That is simply, it does not require any scientific method. It does not require any algorithms, any machine learning. Exploring and discovery, all what you need, probably data visualization and some statistical analysis. Or do we need to design a solution that are dependent on the data? Do we need to design a solution? Does this problem need a solution that is requiring or dependent on the data? If you are building a solution that is requires or dependent on the data, then of course we are going to need algorithms. Yeah, we are going to need some machine learning. And many machine learnings that we are going to get to know later, they require the data. You cannot apply a machine learning on a problem where there is no data. So please remember that data science is not a solution to all our problems. There are many, many problems that data science cannot do anything, especially if you don't have a data. Number 3 is, do we need to design a solution where the data is not in the picture? When the data is not, when the solution is not dependent on the data. So talking about the micro methodology, the micro methodology, the exploration and discovery, we could do basic statistics, calculating the mean, the median, the mode, the distribution, the position of the data, the shape of the data, just looking into different things from the statistical perspective, you could get an answer to your problem. Sampling, estimation, experiment design, ANOVA, MANOVA, linear programming, hypothesis testing. These methods could help you to fix a problem, business problem, using data without using any machine learning, without using any deep learning. That is the first exploration and discovery from micro methodology. We already know that from the macro perspective, we know that we are going to be using CRISP-DM. But within this CRISP-DM, we need to determine what would be our direction. Does this problem that we will be using CRISP-DM to monitor it, does it require some statistical analysis only? Does it require machine learning? Does it require a solution that does not care, that is not dependent on the data? That is something that you might not be able to do with the first time, but after you complete the first project, the second, the third, then you are going to be more experienced. So you know ahead of time the directions you are going to take without trying other directions, and which definitely they are going to end up wasting your time, wasting your energy, and wasting the effort. And remember that most of the project that you will be working on, they are phased and they are timed. So in the 99% or 90% of the project that I worked in the past, they are between 6 months and 8 months. 6 months and 8 months. So we need to get a solution within the 6 months, the 6 months period or 8 months period. So they don't have the business. We don't have time to try every single possible approach to find a solution to the business problem. We don't have time to do that. We'd love to do it, but there is no budget, there is no time. So we got to go straight to the point, straight to the right approach, but there is no way we determine the right approach unless you know it or unless you have an experience. So when we are talking about the micro methodology, we are talking about the exploration and discovery, number 1, or solutions that are dependent on the data, or number 3, solutions that are independent on the data. So in the first one, exploration and discovery, you could do only statistics, and you should go with it. you should get a solution. And the second one, where we are talking about solutions that are dependent on the data, we are actually talking about machine learning. You could do clustering, you could do factor analysis, general linear models, you could do regression analysis, you could do classification, graph-based method, time series, neural net. Just name a model where the data is required. So you are not going to do clustering analysis if you don't have a data. You cannot do regression analysis if you don't have a data with a continuous target variable. You cannot do classification analysis if you don't have a data with a binary, trinary, multi-class target variable. And the same applies with other data, other models. So you need the data to be able to build a model, a solution through the modeling. Sometimes some solutions, they don't really acquire the data. So I'm going to talk about them, but they are out of the scope of my training program. So query theory, Monte Carlo simulation, discrete event simulation, programming, mathematical programming, mathematical optimization, linear programming, nonlinear programming, integer and mixed programming, discrete, combinational, and network optimization. This is all about simulation and optimization, and they don't really acquire any data. It's all math, and that is outside the scope of this program. Okay, so let me see if you guys have any question. And everybody, please share the link on your social media, please. رجاء إخوة الكرام، حاولوا تديروا المشاركة هاد الرابط ديال هاد الحصة هادي مع يعني السوشيال ميديا ديالكم، في الواتساب، في الفيسبوك، في لينكدين. Please share them. This is how we learn together. Just ما نكونوش أنانيين. I know this you have to register, but if you don't want to register, that's not going to be an excuse for not taking advantage of these programs. So please share the link with your network, and jazakumullah ta'ala khairan. So this is the CRISP DM. Yeah, this is the CRISP DM. So we start with business understanding. In business understanding, we need to determine the objectives. We need to understand the problem. We need to frame the problem. Yeah, I think we have some questions. Okay, can we choose these solutions in relation to the area of activities? If you are talking, this Tayyib Mustafa, can we choose? You are asking, can we choose these solutions in relation to our area of activities? If you are talking about the CRISP DM, or if you are talking about the methodology, I really think that you are going to need a methodology. Does not matter which methodology you are using. Does not really matter if you are using scientific method, operational research, workflow method, or any methodology. It could be other methodologies, agile. It could be any methodology. I really don't care, but I think you are going to need the methodology. The methodology, it is going to help you to monitor the progress, to stay focused, to stay on track, and to pay attention to details. That is very important. But in the analytical project, I would recommend that CRISP DM. I would recommend to use CRISP DM. CRISP DM is a collection of best practices that are used in analytics. So, and this could be done in any project, regardless of the business problem and regardless of the industry. يعني في جميع تقدر تستعملها في جميع المشاريع ديال الذكاء الاصطناعي اللي يعني اللي ما عندها علاقة حتى بالبيانات، ما عندها علاقة حتى بالاندستري. Question from Iman, is CRISP DM can be used in any kind of field? Yes. I use CRISP DM in more than, as I said, more than 90% of the project that I work in the past. So you don't have to, once we get into CRISP DM, you don't really need to follow the phases, but CRISP DM is used to monitor the progress, monitor how you are doing within your project, because the project has to be completed at certain period of time, and the business is expecting XYZ from you within this budget, within this window frame. CRISP-DM is going to help you to do that. CRISP-DM is not going to help you. CRISP-DM is not a solution, but simply a methodology. CRISP-DM هو قالب نقدروا نستعملوه باش نتأكدوا بأننا في الطريق الصحيح في الاناليسيس ديالنا. Okay, Nordine CRISP-DM is used for image processing. CRISP-DM is not a solution. Yeah, you could use it for image processing. مثلا عندنا خدام في مستشفى، وفي ذاك المستشفى في مثلا واحد 100,000 brain image، والمشكل اللي هو بغا يعرفوا شكون هي الايمج اللي فيها الكانسر ولا الايمج اللي ما فيهاش الكانسر. يعني انت كعالم بيانات ماشي غير تجي وغادي تمشي تاخذ اعطيني الايمجز انا غادي ندير لهم تحاليل. That is not gonna work. يعني you need a methodology. يعني قبل ما تطلب منهم الصور وانت دير لهم تحاليل، دير لهم يعني تبيلد الموديل عليهم، اولا خصك تفهم المشكل. نمبر 2 خصك تفهم دوك البيانات اللي غادي يعطيوك، تصاور والايمجز. نمبر 3 دوك تصاور كاين تصويره اللي فيها 300 على 300، كاينه الصوره اللي فيها 400 على 700، كاينه الصوره اللي فيها 30 على 24. يعني دي هذا العرض الطول كيختلفوا. كاين تصاور اللي هي كولر، كاين تصاور اللي هي بلاك اند وايت. يعني الا عندك هذا الخليط ديال البيانات راه ما غاديش تستافد منهم اكثر. يعني خصنا اولا نفهموا البيانات اللي عندنا، شحال ديال التصاور اللي عندنا، الحجم ديالهم، الاحجام ديالهم، تشانلز ديالهم. يعني دوك التصاور الا عندك 3، الا عندك داك الصور الملونه راه عندك 3 تشانلز. الا عندك البلاك اند وايت يعني الابيض والاسود عندك 1 شانل. يعني كاع هاد بارامترز خصك تاخذهم في يعني خصك تفهمهم انت وتاخذهم في الحسبان، والا your analytics is not going to be as good as you expect. يعني the CRISP-DM is going to be applied on image processing. Ayman said when we will have access to Canvas. So again, this is a question about the Canvas. Ayman is asking when do we have access to Canvas. إلا تسجلتي في الكانفا، إلا تسجلتي معنا راه غادي تجيك دعوة من ماشي دعوة ديال المحكمة، غادي تجيك الانفيتيشن باش to have access to the Canvas. يعني مع الاسف الا ما توصلتيش بالانفيتيشن راه كاين 4 الاحتمالات. الاحتمال الاول هو انك مسجل معنا ببريد الكتروني خاطئ. الاحتمال الثاني بان الانفيتيشن راه جاتك ولكن مشات شي فولدر اخر، ماشي الانبوكس، مشات الاذر ولا مشات الجانك ولا مشات whatever folder that you have. يعني خصك انت تشيكي كاع لي فولدر اللي عندك وغادي تلقاها وكليك عليها وغادي تبدا من تماك. او انك راه يلا تسجلتي وباقي ما صيفطنا لكش الانفايت. او يعني الاحتمال الرابع وهو ان السيرفر سيرتو الطلبه اللي كيتسجلوا بالاسماء ديال بالبريد الالكتروني ديال الجامعه ديال الطالب، بعد الخطرات دوك السيرفرات ديال الجامعه كتفلتري عندها داك الفلتر ديالها قوي بزاف، يعني ما كتخليش هاد الانفايت توصل لك، يعني كيستوبيها ولا كيباونسيها في جاست اند فلاي. يعني كاين هاد الاحتمالات بثلاثه. لكن اول حاجه اللي خصك تاكد منه واش انت مسجل بالايميل ببريد الكتروني اللي هو يعني صحيح 100%. نمبر 2 الا تسجلتي شوف هاد جانك ميل ديالك وشوف هاد الاذر ميلز راه تقدر تكون في الانفايت كتسناك. Okay, Fatim Zahra, Darim, I can understand why solutions are independent on the data. I think they should depend. كاينين حلول اللي ما عندها حتى علاقه بالبيانات. يعني كاين ثلاثه الحوايج اللي تقدر دير. هذا في جواب ديال الاخت هولدن. هذا الجواب ديال الاخت فاطمه الزهراء، قالت لك ما فهمتش علاش ما كاينش كاين not independent on data. انا نشرح لك. يعني من انت اولا you determine the methodology، هذه number 1. number 2 we need to determine the micro methodology. واش بغينا نستعملوا غير statistics descriptive analytics and data visualization. يعني ما كتطلبش منا يعني smart solutions like algorithms. هذه المره الثانيه السوليوشن الثاني خصنا عندنا data وغادي نديروا الالغوريثمز. we need to apply algorithms or modeling we need the data. في الثالثه مثلا نعطيك غير مثال عندنا هنا في امريكا عندنا شركه ديال نقل السلع. عندنا شركه ديال نقل السلع مثلا في UPS. مثلا انت سائقه ديال شاحنه ديال هاد وشركه عندنا هاد الناس اللي خدامين مع الامازون ولا بحال UPS مثلا، عندهم مثلا في واحد المدينه عندهم 1000 باكيج، عندهم 1000 رساله ولا 1000 بوكس اللي خصهم يوزعوا على الناس في ديك المدينه. في ديك المدينه كيجيو كيقولوا لك واش ممكن تعطينا الطريق الاسهل، يعني واحد الطريقه الاسهل اللي نقدروا مثلا نوزعوا هاد 1000. عندنا غير شيفور واحد وان درايفر. واش ممكن تعطينا شي طريقه اللي نقدروا نوزعوا بها هاد 1000 باكيجز في 8 سوايع بلا يعني ب one driver يعني 8 hours one driver and let's say $200 ديال الغاز. واش ممكن؟ يعني تقدر تقول لي هذه هي الطريقه ولا تقدر تقول لي عاوتاني انت يعني you don't need the data you simply need to simulate، ولا تقدر تقول لي هذه الطريقه زيكزاغي ولاش من طريقه. هاد الطريقه هذه does not require a data, does not really need the data, so a solution is not dependent on the data. وباش نديروا هاد السوليوشن not independent data نقدر نديروا هي عمليه رياضيه بحته ما فيهاش الماده الخام، ما فيهاش البيانات. نقدر نديروا مونتي كارلو سيموليشن، discrete event simulation، mathematical programming، كل هادو غير عباره عن programming وعباره عن رياضيات ما فيهاش البيانات. بعض ديال الحلول اللي غيتقلبي عليها انت في المستقبل كعالمة بيانات او كدارس ساينتست you might not need the data. ماشي بالضروري يكون عندك يعني الداتا باش ديري حل، يعني باش you prepare your you develop a smart solution to a business problem. So فاطمة الزهراء نتمنى نكون انني يعني شرحت لك يعني السؤال ديالك. Nadia, could you please explain one more time the enter-hidden variables? So the enter-hidden variables اللي هما هادوك العلاقات الرياضية اللي كتقلبي عليهم انت، اللي كتلقاي انت في البيانات. متى عندنا البيانات عندنا data we have the data وعندنا المودلز. I know I will be doing a regression, I know I will be doing classification, I know I'll be doing clustering. I know what I will be doing. وديجا درت الكلاسرين درت الريجريشن عرفتو مزيان عرفتو كيفاش كيخدم عرفتو في I know the parameters I know everything وعارف اشنو البيزنس باغي مني عارف البيزنس اشنو باغي مني عارف واش باغي غير سميتو الاكشن بلان 1 2 3 ولا باغيين مني سميتو الداشبورد dashboard to explain the to explain to visualize the data ولكن الحاجه اللي باقي ما عرفتش انا اللي هي مخفيه راه كاينه في البيانات ولكن انا خصني نلقاها باش غادي نلقاها بهذا الموديلين اللي غادي نديرو يعني منين كديري مثلا cluster analysis you are going to use the distance to calculate the distance. You are going to use like Euclidean distance or Mahalanobis distance or Manhattan distance or Chebyshev distance or Manhattan distance. بزاف ديال distance measurement. علاش باش تلقاي هاد الاليمنتس ديال الداتا اللي قراب بعضياتهم. انا ملي كنشوف البيانات ما عايش نشوفهم ولكن راه كاين شي علاقات رياضيه هي اللي كتربط دوك البيانات اللي عندي انا خصني نكتشفهم منين غادي نكتشف دوك العلاقات الرياضيه باستعمال ماشين ليرنين ديب ليرنين عاد ممكن ديك العلاقات الرياضيه اللي اكتشفت غادي نستعملها في اي بيانات جديده اللي غادي تعطيني مثلا البيانات ديال غدا هاد البيانات اللي غادي اكتشفتهم دابا اكتشفتهم اليوم ولكن غدا تعطيني انت البيانات غادي نستعمل داكشي اللي اكتشفت البارح ولا اليوم في البيانات وغادي نستعمل في البيانات اللي تعطيني غدا وغادي نقول لك شنو غادي يكون داكشي هادشي باش كنديروا البرودكشن باش نديروا البرودكشن to do prediction we have to learn from the historical data الا ما تعلمتيش من الماضي ما غاديش تخمني لينا المستقبل. That is what I mean by hidden variables. Nadia, if it's not clear, Nadia Hamouchi, if it's not clear, let me know. I can explain it one more time. Okay, Shal Khalid, as a researcher, what is the best method? Researcher, again for the research, I think the best method for researcher is هي scientific research. إلا أنت كدير بحث إلا كنتي في البي اتش دي باحث يعني كتقلب على شي حاجة اللي ما عندكش البيانات يعني ما عندناش البيانات وربما خصنا نخلقوا البيانات خصنا نديروا سيموليشن ديال البيانات أنا كان أعتقد والله أعلم يعني scientific research is the best هذه إلى يعني كدير البحث researching in any discipline, in a domain. Okay, Lamia, can we use CRISP-DM on the problem of verification efficient embedding? Yes, you could use it. كما قلت لكم CRISP-DM راه ماشي حل ماشي يحل لك المشكل غير هو غادي يساعدك باش انت تتحكم في ذاك المشكل من البداية إلى النهاية. So CRISP-DM could be used to control the process or the flow of designing a solution to your problem. CRISP-DM ماشي حل. CRISP-DM منهجية كتستعمليها باش انت تتحكم في الصيرورة في ديال المشكل اللي انت كتحاول تعالجه باستعمال scientific method الذكاء الاصطناعي وآلية الذكاء الاصطناعي. Okay, I mean, I have always been using scientific research methods since I'm a scientist. Is it better to switch? I don't know. Now, if you are using a scientific research method, please stay there. But you never know. You could try to change the methodology. But again, these are methodologies. They are not going to help you to. They are not solutions. They are going to help you to design a better solution, but they are not solutions. So either you are using scientific method or CRISP-DM or waterfall method or operations research method. This is simply methods قوالب اللي كتساعدك انت باش تحكم في الدراسة ديالك تحكم في البحث ديالك تحكم في طريقة اللي انت كتحاول تبعها باش تلقى حل جذري للمشكل اللي كتعاني منه الشركة اللي انت اللي مخدماك وكتخلصك. What is طيب مصطفى, what is the best solution for logistic area, please? I don't know, I don't understand your question. If you have a logistic problem that you're trying to tackle using data science, you could use CRISP-DM. Again, please bear in mind that these micro methodologies, they are not solutions. They are methods that you could use to help you minimize the time, minimize the budget, minimize the effort to find a better solution. Okay. Yeah, so as data scientists, we are going to start with the first phase, that is understanding the business. So we need to understand the business better, and also once in this understanding, there is a lot of things that we gotta do. In understanding the business. And one of them is, number one, we need to understand the objectives. We need to understand, sorry guys, I need to, yeah. Yeah. Okay. No apologies. So we need to understand the problem, and in the process of understanding the problem, there are a lot of steps. Number one, you need to understand the objectives. You need to understand the analytical approach. You need to understand. You need to frame the problem. You need to start with questions. You need to build a bank of questions. You need to understand the team. You need to understand the stakeholders. And I did recommend it. So this is the book. This is the book I'm recommending. It's called Data Science. It's really a non-technical book, and they already shared the PDF version of it through WhatsApp. So please go through this book. It is going to help you to master the first and the second and the third session. This book is going to help you to understand the process of starting the process of conducting an analytical project. So once we have a good understanding of the problem, then we are going to move into the data. So of course the data is, so we are going to get the data. If you are very lucky, then the data is there available for you to explore and start playing with it. But if you are not lucky, you need to search for your data using SQL. So you need to add SQL under your belt or to your plate. You need to learn how to fetch the data yourself. If you are lucky, the data is there in either tabular format or in flat files or any whatever format, but the data is there available. You don't have to fetch, you don't have to spend time acquiring accesses to servers, to databases, and putting data yourself. But the worst case scenario is the data that we have the data, but the data is not available. You need to get the data yourself. So once we get the data, then of course we need to spend time understanding what is exactly that we have in this data. How big this data? What is the shape of this data? How the data has been distributed? Do we have any missing values? Do we have any outliers? Do we have any duplicates? Do we have categorical data? Then do we have duplicates? Do we have any problem in the data? Do we have any inconsistency in this data? Do we have any contradiction in this data? So you need to understand the quality of the data. You need to check every element. خصك تفلتري، خصك يعني تزوم بداك البيانات باش تعرف باش تعلم اشنو باش تعرف وتعلم اشنو عندك في هذيك البيانات، واش البيانات صالحه، لان البيانات يعني باي ديفولت هي غير صالحه. منين كاي الشركه ولا ديك الخدمه ديالك اللي تخدم فيها ان شاء الله كيعطيوك البيانات، دوك البيانات هي غير صالحه، واخا تكون صالحه حنا غادي نعتبروها غير صالحه للاستعمال. يعني باش نجعلوها صالحه للاستعمال اولا خصنا نفهموها. we have to understand what we have in it. ومنين غادي نفهموها عاد غادي ندوكيمنتيو، يعني we are going to document everything that we learn about the data. غادي نديروا واحد الدوكيومنتس، واحد رابورت. ذاك الرابور غادي في البيانات اللي عندنا، في النوع ديال البيانات، الحجم ديال البيانات، في الكواليتي تشيك ديال البيانات، في مجموعه ديال النقاط اللي خصنا يعني نفيكسيو that we need to fix. يعني كاين واحد مقولة كتقول، يعني ماشي هي مقولة، هي حقيقة، هي garbage in garbage out. يعني إلى البيانات ديالك أعزكم الله زبل، ما غاديش تنتج شي حاجة اللي هي مهمة. يعني if your data is garbage you are gonna design a garbage solution. يعني إلى كانت البيانات ديالك غير صالحة للاستعمال ما يمكنش تستعملها. يعني ولكن خصنا أولا نفهموا أشنو عندنا في هذه البيانات. يعني صدقوني ما بين يعني راه 70% حتى 80% غادي تستعمل في هاد ثلاث النقط هادو. يعني ما بين 70% حتى 80% ديال الوقت ديالك. يعني منين كتخدم في شي مشروع ديال الذكاء الاصطناعي، الا حسيتي براسك راك باقي في النقطه الاولى راك على الطريق الصحيح. الا حسيتي براسك يلاه بديتي البارح ودابا راه ديجا كطور حل، راك كدير شي حاجه خاطئه جدا جدا وغادي تندم عليها يعني في المستقبل. يعني خصك اولا تفهم المشكل، يعني خصك تفهم المشكل بالطريقه اللي الشركه فاهمه. يعني خصك تدخل الدماغ ديال هاد المانجر ديالك ولا الناس اللي عندهم المصلحه، اصحاب المصلحه، ستيك هولدرز، خصك تدخل الدماغ ديالهم وتحاول تفهم المشكل بالطريقه اللي فاهمينه هو، اللي فاهمين به ذاك المشكل. يعني you have to be in the same page otherwise الى فهمتي انت المشكل بطريقه مختلفه راك في اتجاه الخاطئ. في الاخر غادي يقول لك لا ماشي هذا هو المشكل اللي بغيناك تحل. يعني you are solving a problem that we don't care about. You are solving an unwanted or unneeded problem. We need you. We hired you. We need you to solve our problem. يعني خصك تفهم يعني المشكل كيما كان فاهمينه هو. ومنين تفهم المشكل عاد كتقول لهم اعطيوني البيانات. ومنين كيعطيوك البيانات مهما كانت مهما كانت دقة هذه البيانات، مهما كانت طبيعة هذه البيانات، حنا غادي نعتبروا هذه البيانات غير صالحة للاستعمال. الرو داتا أو مادة خام. والمادة الخام خصنا نفليوها، نحيدوا من هذيك المواد الشائبة، عاد نخليو غير يعني المادة يعني الجميلة النقية اللي غادي نستعملوا حنا في التحاليل. So we need to understand the data first, understand the quality, especially the quality of the data. ومنين غادي نفهموا هاد الكواليتي of the data عاد غادي نحاولوا نفيكسيو. We need to fix the quality of the data. إلا عندنا duplicates خصنا نحيدوهم، عندنا categorical data خصنا نحولوها لنumerical data، عندنا missing values خصنا نقلبوا على الطريقة باش نعمروا داك الميسين فاليوز، عندنا اوتلايرز خصنا نفكروا في شي طريقه واش نخليوهم واش نحيدوهم واش نسكيلو الداتا. what do we need to do to fix this type of problems. يعني منين كتلقى يعني منين كتفهم المشكل اللي عندك في البيانات عاد كتحاول تطور حل باش تفيكسي داك المشكل. وفي الاخير غادي يكون عندك واحد البيانات اللي هي جاهزه للاستعمال. now gotta stop and check ديال الشات ديالكم. Okay, so Monia, so when we have objective to modeling epidemic problems impacted by several factors, what is the best method to do that, please? Again, you know, I'm talking from the higher level. When you are trying to analyze a phenomena, analyze a behavior, analyze a problem, and this problem supported by the data, I would recommend doing CRISP-DM. I would recommend doing CRISP-DM. مونيا I would recommend doing CRISP-DM. إلى فهمتي المشكل وعندك البيانات، أنا كان يعني في recommendation ديري CRISP-DM ما غاديش ندمي عليها. سلمى معطاوي ask please how can we judge data quality? Is there any method to evaluate data quality? Data quality is another 15 weeks. غير data quality is another 15 weeks. لكن في data quality علاش اشنو كنقلبوا حنا؟ كنقلبوا على شي حاجه اللي هي باينه، كنقلبوا على مثلا على ال missing values، كنقلبوا على outliers، كنقلبوا على duplicates، كنقلبوا على داك noisy data، وكنقلبوا على distribution يعني skewness، وكنقلبوا على cortices and skewness. وباش تفهمي البيانات بشكل دقيق جدا كاين ثلاثه الحوايج اللي خصك ديري. خصك ديري statistical analysis، خصك ديري descriptive analytics، وخصك ديري data visualization. يعني كاين ثلاثه الحوايج وغادي نتعلموا ان شاء الله تعالى من غادي نوصلوا للبيانات غادي نتعلموا ثلاثه الحوايج. How to apply statistical analysis on your data, how to visualize your data. When you visualize your data, you are going to see things that you won't be able to see by looking into the elements of your data. وغادي المرة الثالثة والنقطة الثالثة هي the descriptive analytics. يعني كاين ثلاث الحوايج اللي غادي نستعملوا باش نفهموا القيمة أو الكواليتي ديال البيانات اللي عندنا. وبيني وبينكم يعني رغم مهما تكون أنت ذكي ولا very good data scientist يعني محلل بارع يعني لابد خاصك شي واحد يعاونك من البيزنس، خاصك شي واحد اللي فاهم البيزنس احسن منك. انت دابا يلاه جنك على البارح يعني you are very good data scientist يعني very good data scientist، ولكن جنك على البارح وبغيناك تحل لنا المشكل وما فاهمش انت الشركه كامله. خاصك تفهم الشركه شنو كنديروا، كيفاش البروسيس ديالنا، شنو بغينا نديروا، خاصك كامل تفهموا وديروا في عين الحسبان منين كتحاول تفهم البيانات. يعني داكشي علاش كما اشرت سابقا ان داتا ساينس از ا تيم سبورت. يعني ماشي داتا ساينس ماشي ديال واحد، ديال مجموعه ديال تيم. وفي هذه المجموعه خص يكون معاك شي واحد اللي فاهم البيانات مزيان، شي واحد اللي فاهم البيزنس مزيان، شي واحد اللي غادي implement داك السوليوشن ديالك into production if you were to design a solution. Okay, so that is the questions that we have. Now let's proceed. So منين غادي نفهموا المشكل ونفهموا البيانات ونفيكسيو المشكل اللي كاين في البيانات، then we are going to do the modeling. For modeling you could do it depends. إلى عندك مثلا if you have a target variable most likely you are going to be doing supervised learning. Supervised learning we have two approaches. We have classification. If your target variable is a binary, trinary, multi-class, we are going to do classification. Of under classification, we could do decision tree and algorithm. We could do the random forest. We could do bagging and boosting. We could do support vector machine. We could do naive Bayes. We could do linear. We could do logistic regression. We could do k-nearest neighbor. There are many models that we could do under the supervised learning classification. If you have a binary or a trinary or multi-class target variable. If you have a continuous target variable, then we are going to do supervised learning under the modeling. We are going to do supervised learning regression. Well, under regression, there are many models we could try. We could try simple linear regression. We could try multiple linear regression. We could try lasso, ridge, elastic net, decision tree, random forest, support vector machine again. We could try polynomial regression. There are many models that we could try until we find the one that best address the problem that we are dealing with. Under the model also, if you don't have a target variable, then you need another type of learning that tries to understand the underlying structure of your data. And we are talking here about clustering analysis. And under clustering, there are a bunch of models you could try. K-means clustering, hierarchical clustering, DB scan clustering. There are many models. You could try A/B testing or recommender system. You could try also A/B testing, recommend association rules. There are many anomaly detection. There are many models that don't have a target variable, but you could tackle them, depends on the needs. So at the end of the day, we are going to have only one model. It's one model that we are going to go home with, and that one model. Then after, of course, we evaluate them. So we need to test them, evaluate them to determine how good they are. So we are going to have only one model, and when we have one model, then we can share that one model with the business. If the business agrees with the end result, then we are going to deploy this model into production. So this is your life as data scientist. You start with the problem, then with understanding the problem, then you move into understanding the data, then you move into preparing, pre-processing, making the data ready, then you move into building some modeling, then you move into evaluating those models and pick only one model, then you communicate the finding with the business, and if the business is happy with the finding, then it's time to deploy the model into production if the model requires deployment. Okay, Ahmed, Yaqub, could you please explain more SQL use in case of absence of the data? So yes, if the data is not available, if the data is not available, means we have data, but we don't have anyone who can provide the data. عندنا البيانات ولكن ما عندناش شي واحد اللي يعطيك البيانات. يعني we have the data, it's there in the database. You got millions, you got mountains of data. So you need to have access to that data, and you need to have skills. You need to be skilled enough to only extract, only retrieve, only get the data that you are gonna need. ما غاديش تجيب لنا البيانات كلها يعني ديال الشركه، انه غتجيب لنا غير البيانات اللي انت محتاجهم. Then to do that you are gonna need some SQL expertise. How to merge, how to join tables, how to fetch for your data, how to select some variables from different databases, how to merge tables from different databases, how to pull the data you are looking for. So it's a lot of work, but yes, it's doable. And my recommendation as data scientist, you need to go with the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is the data is there, but you need to get it yourself. And that worst case scenario requires that you learn SQL. Otherwise, otherwise you are going to lose your job right next day. If you don't know how to get your data, of course, you are going to be stuck with that. Okay, so let me check the chat again. What do we have? Okay, Abdulaziz. Is it possible to convert a classification problem into regression? Yes, you can convert a regression into classification and classification into regression, and we'll talk about it once we get into the model, inshallah. Yes, you can convert clustering into classification or clustering into regression. That is a technique that we are going to learn through the program later, inshallah. Okay. So even though there are methodologies, so please don't be a slave. Don't be a slave to the process. You don't really need to do crisp DM. You don't really need to do any of this methodology. You don't need to. But trust me, these methodologies, they are going to help you to monitor, to box the process, your processes, to monitor your process, your growth, to monitor the progress, to monitor the progress of your project. You don't have to, but I wouldn't do it. I would simply pick a methodology, because I know these methodologies, they are going to help me monitor the process of conducting an analytical project from concept to completion, inshallah. Okay, so this is Crisp DM, and this is with much more details. So as I said, Crisp DM is phased. So phase number 1 is business understanding, where we define the project. Phase number 2, data understanding, examine data, identify problem in the data. Phase number 3, data preparation, fix problems in the data, create the derived variables. Phase number 4 is modeling, is build predictive or descriptive models. Phase number 5 is assess, is evaluation, assess the models, compare models, evaluate the goodness of the models. And of course, phase number 6 is plan for use of the model. Some of the models, they don't really need to be implemented, they simply require an action plan. So these are the phases, but what is exactly happening under in all these phases? So in phase number 1, it's business understanding. There are a few things. So number 1, you need to determine the objectives. What is exactly that the business wants to achieve? علاش الشركة بغات تحل هذا المشكل هذا؟ علاش بغات تحله؟ What is the problem؟ شنو هو المشكل وعلاش بغا يحلوه؟ وعلاش بغاو يستعملوا تحاليل؟ اشنو كانوا كيستعملوا من قبل ما تجي التحاليل؟ اشنو كانوا كيستعملوا؟ شنو هي الطريقه اللي كانوا كيحلوا بها هذا المشكل هذا؟ لان هذا المشكل يقدر يكون مشكل قديم جدا، يعني كيتعاملوا معه مره في كل 4 شهور، مره كل 6 شهور، مره كل شهر، مره every day. It could be. So what methods that have been used to deal with this type of problems in the past prior determining or prior deciding to use analytics؟ قبل ما يفكروا باش يستعملوا البيانات، قبل ما يفكروا باش يجيبوك انت كمحلل بيانات او عالم بيانات، data analyst or data scientist، اشنو كان الشركة كدير؟ So it is your responsibility، من المسؤولية ديالك انت كعالم بيانات او محلل بيانات تعرف اشنو كان كيدار قبل ما يجيبوك انت، على الاقل تفهم الصورة بشكل واضح. So you need to determine objectives and you need to start framing a problem. يعني منين شركة تعطيك المشكل، هذاك المشكل راه يقدر يتحل بمئات ديال الحلول. So we need to determine which is the best solution. أنا ما عنديش الوقت باش ندير الحلول كاملين، أنا بغيت نمشي للحل الأنسب، ولكن باش تمشي للحل الأنسب خصنا أولا تأطير، كتسمى فريم هو الإطار، تأطير المشكل. وإن شاء الله تعالى غدا غادي نتعلموا كيفاش غادي نأطروا المشكل. We have to frame a problem. If you cannot frame a problem, then guess what? There is no solution. So then we need to define the measurement. شركة كتجي عندك مثلا كتقول لك ها المشكل اللي عندي وها الحل اللي بغيت، وكيفاش كتأكد بأن الحل راه موجود. يعني خصنا شي حاجة باش نعبروا، يعني measure the success. شكون اللي قال لي بأن الحل راه اللي غادي نتجانا في الآخر، يعني في the end it's successful not successful. يعني خصنا شي حاجة اللي غادي نتأكدوا منها بأن الحل اللي غادي نبنيو ليهم حنا راه أنسب. يعني الشركة هي اللي غتعطينا هذه المعلومات هذا. مثلا خدامين عند الاتصالات ديال المغرب، مثلا خدامين الاتصالات ديال المغرب، والاتصالات ديال المغرب مثلا عندها واحد 20 مليون 20 مليون Moroccan subscriber، يعني 20 مليون زبون. وكل شهر كتمشي واحد 10,000 زبون كتمشي للشركات الاخرين. يعني جابوك انت كعالم بيانات او محلل بيانات، قالوا لك واش ممكن تعاوننا نحبسوا هذا النزيف. يعني كل شهر كتمشي لك 10,000 يعني دارز الله. يعني يعني جابوك انت قالوا لك واش ممكن تعاوننا نحبسوا هذا النزيف ديال كتسمى كاستمر تشيرن باستعمال الذكاء الاصطناعي، باستعمال التحاليل. فعلا عندنا المشكل. انت اولا خصك تفهم الشركه ديال الاتصالات، وخصك تفهم جميع الشركات اللي خدامين في المجال في المغرب. كاين انا كنعرف الاتصالات، و اشنو الشركات الاخرين اللي خدامين في المغرب؟ كتبوهم لي في الشات بليز. كاين اتصالات، كاين شنو عاوتاني كاين في المغرب؟ والله ما عقلتش بصراحه. انا عارف الاتصالات كاين شي ثلاثه والله. كاين انوي، كاين اورنج، كاين انوي، كاين اتصالات. يعني مثلا اتصالات عندهم 20 مليون 20 مليون ديال الزبائن، وكل شهر كتمشي 10,000 20,000 5,000 3,000 كتمشي كتحول من استعمال خدمات ديال الاتصالات، كيمشيو على الانوي كيستعملوا الخدمات ديالهم، ولا كيمشيو على الاورنج، ولا كيمشيو على حاجه اخرى. جابوك انت كعالم بيانات قالوا لك بغيناك تحبس لينا هذا المشكل. ما يمكنش تحبسه. يعني الى الشركات تقول لك هالبيانات هالمشكل، استعمل انت الداتا ساينس ديالك وبغيناك تحل لنا المشكل. يعني تنقص لنا هاد 10,000 في الشهور الاولى، بغينا نقصوها 3,000 في الشهور الثانيه، بغينا نقصوها ل 1500. باي دي ان اوف ذا يير خصها تكون زيرو. يعني كاين واحد الكوانتيتي باش تقدر تميجر ذا سكسيس. يعني الشركه هي اللي كتقول لك هذه هي الطريقه اللي غادي نحاول نعتمدها باش نقارن بها، باش نعرف بها بان الحل اللي انت طورتي حل مناسب وحل ناجح او حل فاشل. So we have to have a document. You have to have a document from the business. والا في الاخر ما عندناش شي معيار اللي نقدروا يعني نعتمدوا عليه باش نعرفوا بان الحل اللي قمنا بالتطوير ديالو هو ناجح او فاشل. So we have to have some define success measurement، معايير النجاح. هاد المعايير ديال النجاح الشركه هي اللي خصها تعطيهم لك في الاول. الا ما عطاتهمش لكش راه ما كايناش شي طريقه اللي تقدر يعني تستعملها باش توزن هذا الحل اللي قمت بالتحليل ديالو. Number 3, you need if you know that you are going to be doing some predictive analytics، إلا عرفتي بأن راه غادي دير prediction، يعني خصك what we call target variable. خصنا target variable، خصنا داك الهدف ولا target variable، يعني المتغير الهدف اللي خص يكون في البيانات. بعد الخطرات ما كتكونش هذا المتغير الهدف، بعد الخطرات there is no target variable. So you need to come up with a plan to design or extract or develop your own target variable from, of course, using the data provided to you and also using the business problem provided to you. منين كيكون عندك البيانات عاد كتحاول انت باش تختار الطريق الانسب. كاين 6 ديال الطرق، راه ديجا هضرنا عليهم في المحاضره الاولى. كاين 6 ديال انواع ديال التحاليل، يعني analytic approach. كان descriptive analytics كيحاول يعالج لك ما وقع في الماضي، يعني it only tries to answer to address questions related to the past. كاين descriptive، كاين diagnostic analytics trying to answer the questions in the format of why، علاش. كاين predictive analytics trying to answer the questions of what is the probability, what is the likelihood something is going to happen in the future. كاين prescriptive analytics which trying to answer the questions what would be the optimal position, the optimal takeaway, the optimal roadmap, the optimal solution to XYZ problem. وكاين optimization and simulation. يعني كاين 6 ولكن 4 هما الأهمين. هنا we have to determine what would be the best analytic approach from the beginning. ف 90% ديال المشاريع اللي عالجتهم انا من 2014 يعني استعملت descriptive analytics and predictive analytics combination يعني 90%. هذا لا يعني بانك you are going to do the same, but simply I'm sharing my experience with you. In 90% of the project that I fixed, they are completed, that I conducted in the analytical project that I conducted in the past, I used a combination of descriptive analytics and predictive analytics. And also you need to determine the deployment. واش هاد الحل غادي نديره في البرودكشن ولا ما غاديش نديره؟ الا ماشي غادي دير ليا تبني لي واحد الحل وفي الاخر ما نقدروش نستعملوه، ما نقدروش يعني نستعملوه. 70% انا قريت في واحد article that 70% to 80% of the analytical project fail. 70 حتى 80% ديال المشاريع ديال تحليل البيانات كيفشلوا. علاش؟ number one, because you are not ready from the beginning. شي حاجه وقعت لك في البدايه ما فهمتيهاش، ما فهمتيش المشكل، ما فهمتيش البيانات، شي حاجه مهم وقعت لك في البدايه ما فهمتيهاش، ولا you are not ready for the end، ولا انت ما مستعدش في النهايه. يعني ما جبتي ما درتيش النهايه في الحسبان. مثلا تقدر دير واحد المشروع اللي هو جميل جدا وواحد الحل مشروع، ولكن ذاك الحل غير قابل للتطبيق في النهايه، يعني المشروع ديالك راه فاشل 100%. يعني you need to determine if the project is the solution is going to be implemented into production. If that is the case, then you are good to go. Then we need to plan for it. بعد الخطرات ديال بعد المشاريع خص غير تعطي المعلومه للشركه، هذه هي المعلومه. بعد المشاريع لا خصها حل، وذاك الحل خصو يدار في البرودكشن. Okay, let me check the chat. I know. Okay, Salma, we get this data. So, okay. We get data from vendors. So there are many scenarios. If you don't have a data, إلا ما عندكش البيانات شنو غادي ديري؟ تقدري ديري simulation. يعني انت ديري شي بيانات اللي هي قابلة للتطبيق، وبيانات اللي هي كاذبة ولكن قريبة للحقيقة. You could do that. You could ولا تقدر تمشي تجبدي البيانات من شي شركة اللي كدير نفس الخدمة اللي كديروها نتوما، ولا تقدري تشري البيانات من جوجل، تقدري تشري البيانات من فيسبوك، تقدري تشري البيانات من الجوفرمنت، ولا تقدري تسناي حتى تكون عندك البيانات. يعني تسناي واحد 6 شهور ولا عام منين تكون عندك البيانات عاد ديري التحاليل ديالها. If you don't have the data, there is few cases, few scenarios that how you could handle the problem, this scenario if you don't have the data. Scraping data from webs is illegal? No. Yes, some websites that allow it. Of course, hacking into the website, that is illegal. ملي كتدخل ليا السيرفر ديالي انا وكتجبد ليا المعلومات ديالي انا بطرق غير مشروعه، دارك هي اللي غير قانونيه. اما باش تمشي للويب سايت ديالي انا وتجبد المعلومات I really don't care. I think it's legal. Of course some companies they might consider it as illegal, so you cannot scrap their website, but who cares? The only thing that I know for sure that is illegal is hacking into someone's servers, databases, and get the data without authority, without unauthorized access. That could create some legal problems. Okay, what is the metrics to measure the quality of service of any online platforms? I don't really understand what you're talking about. What is the metrics to measure the quality of a service of any online platform? Give me an example, then I'll be more than happy to help you. So then we need to have, under business understanding, we need to have a plan. So this is the start date, this is the end date, this is the expectation. So the business wants, determine the start, and he wants this project to complete within 6 months, 8 months, 4 months, 5 days. It depends. And the business also, they have some expectation from you. This is what they need. And finally, we need to know the stakeholders. أصحاب المصلحة. شكون اللي عنده المصلحة في هذه المشكلة دي تحل؟ كتسمى stakeholders. So you need to build a good relationship with them. إلى ما ربطيش علاقة معهم، غالبا تقدر تحيد على الطريق وتقدر تمشي لشي طريق جهة أخرى اللي هما ما باغينكش تمشي ليها وما كيتسناوك تحل هذا المشكل وانت غادي في واحد الاتجاه اخر، يعني كتحل المشكل بطريقه اخرى. So you need to build a very strong relationship with your stakeholders, and also you need to have a team. خاصك تكون team ديالك. You guys remember in the first presentation that we covered in the first presentation, let me go through it one more time. In the first presentation, we talked about the team, and I would love to bring it up one more time so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is the presentation number 1, and we talked about the team. There we go. So you need to have a team. You need to have a team. So number 1, within your team, this is you and your partners, technical data scientists or citizen data scientists. We need to have a business analyst or someone who knows the business better. That is called business expert or domain expert. Then we have a data expert, someone who knows the data better. Then we have a developer, someone who can help us implement the model into production. إلا ما عندكش تيم راك في مشكل كبير. أنا كنت خدام في واحد المشروع في 2017، واحد المشروع رائع جدا جدا ويعني very funded project. That was my first professional project. ودخلت له بوحدي يعني واخا كنت عارف بان I have to have a team. مع الاسف دخلت له بوحدي لان ما كاينش تيم. وguess what، انا وعد صاحب الشركه بان غادي نعطيه السولوشن within a day or two. اعطاني البيانات، قال لي واش تقدر تعطيني اعطيني غير نظره. قلت له اوكي give me a day or two. وصدقوني انا خدت مني تقريبا 3 الاسابيع غير باش نعرف منين جات البيانات. يعني and guess what I lost. أنا فقدت يعني I lost the project because I was working on this project by myself. So if I had a team I could have complete the project. يعني إلا حسيتي براسك راك خدام في البروجكت بوحدك راك كدير شي حاجة غلط. يعني لازم خاصك من team. You have to have a team. Okay, and finally إلا ما عندكش البيانات، إلا باقي ما عارفش بأن شنو عندك البيانات، نقدر نديزايني واحد الحاجة سميتها ABT Analytical Base Table. هاد الاناليتيكال بيس تيبل هو في نظرك اشنو غيتحتاج في البيانات. انت دابا فاهم المشكل مزيان، فاهم المشكل يعني من الف الى الياء. You understood the problem from A to Z. You know the problem very well. So based on your understanding of the problem, what do you think you are gonna need as far as the data is concerned؟ اشنو كتظن غادي تحتاج في البيانات؟ داك الشيء اللي كتظن هو اللي كنسميوه حنا ABT. ABT هو عبارة عن مخطط، تخطيط. كتقول لي محتاج مثلا بيانات على الأعمار، محتاج البيانات على الديموغرافيك، يعني الأعمار، الاسم، يعني السالري، الانكم، محتاج البيانات على الفاينانس، محتاج البيانات على الاكاونتين، محتاج البيانات على الويذر، محتاج البيانات على كذا وكذا وكذا. هذه كتسمى غير هي نظرة شاملة على داك الشيء اللي كتعتقد انت كعالم بيانات من داك الشيء اللي فهمتي من المشكل. ومنين كنفهموا حنا when we understand the business, then we are going to move into the data. So now we got the data. غادي نهزو هاد البيانات، هاد ال ABT. So we are going to take the ABT وغادي نحولوها على الفيتشرز. في البيزنس اندرستاندينغ غادي نعتمدوا على دومين اكسبرت ولا البيزنس اكسبرت. غادي نعتمدوا على شي واحد اللي فاهم الشركه، فاهم البيزنس بيتر احسن منا، شي واحد اللي فاهم البيزنس. وغادي نعتمدوا على شي واحد اللي عنده دومين، عنده معرفه على المجال، مجال تخصص. مثلا خدام في telecommunication, we need someone who is better in telecommunication. شي واحد اللي يخدم في الانوي، في الاورنج، في ماروك telecommunication، فاهم السوق مزيان، فاهم اللعبه مزيان. هذا غادي يعاونك انت باش تفهم المشكل اللي بغيتي تحل. ثم من بعد يعني غادي نمروا لديتا اندرستاندين. هذا ملي غادي نمشيو لديتا اندرستاندين غادي نتعاملوا مع شي واحد اللي فاهم البيانات مزيان، شي واحد اللي خدام مع شركه 20 عام، 15 عام، 10 سنين، هو اللي بنى الداتابيز ديال الشركه، عارف. they know where the data is coming from, how the data is being stored, the values of the data, the terminologies used, the metadata, data dictionaries. They know everything about the data, so they have an answer to any question that you could have on the data. So now we are gonna get the features. غادي نجبدوا البيانات من sources. Then we are gonna need to read this data into whatever tools that you are gonna try to use. In our case, we are gonna use Jupyter Notebook. We are gonna use Python. You could use Python, whatever flavor platform you desire. You could use R, whatever flavor platform you desire. You could use non-programming tools like Tableau, Power BI that don't require any programming. You could use RapidMiner, SAS for Enterprise Miner, BigML. There are many tools, licensed and free for use, that you could utilize that don't require any programming. But if you are trying to use programming languages, the most common programming languages in data science is Python #1, then R #2. Of course, there are other programming languages like Julia, Scala, and other programming languages, C++, and other programming languages that I don't know. So we are going to read the data, and we are going to spend time understanding the data. To understand the data, we are going to need to apply exploratory data analysis. We are going to explore this data. We are going to apply data visualization, visualize the data. We are going to build histograms for numerical data. We are going to build bar plot for categorical data. We are going to build line plot for time series data. We are going to build scatter plot for correlation, for relationships. We are going to build heat map for correlation analysis. We are going to build a box plot for outlier detection. There are many platform or many graphs that you could use to help us understand the data better. But in general, as data scientists, you could use out of 100 existing graphs that you could use, probably up to 6. They are most common ones: histograms, bar plot, line plot, heat maps, a scatter plot, and box plot. These are 6, 7 graphs that you could use to help you understand the data better. Also, we could use statistical analysis. In statistical analysis is simply applying some statistics, probability, to understand the position of the data, the shape, the distribution, etc. And finally, at the end of data understanding, we have to have a quality report. A quality report is simply a report describing what you discovered in the data in terms of quality. So a report describing the quality of your data. So once we have this book or this report, then that is what we are going to use in phase number 3. In phase number 3, we are going to use the report to pre-process the data. We are going to use this report to prepare and process the data. And in data preparation, now we have to deal with everything that we discovered during data understanding. So we need to handle duplicates, if any. We need to determine what to do with missing values, if any. We need to determine what to do with outliers, if any. We need to do with the cardinality, if any, or hierarchy in the data, if any. مثلا إلى عندك في البيانات اسم المدينة، اسم الشارع، اسم الدولة، اسم المدينة، اسم الشارع. إلا قلت لك مثلا رانا عايش في المغرب، دابا إلا عندنا بيانات من العالم، مثلا قلت لك رانا عايش في المغرب، بحال إلا قلت لك أنا راه عايش في الدار البيضاء. is the same. يعني إلا عندك اسم ديال الدولة ما تحتاج اسم ديال المدينة، ما تحتاج اسم ديال الشارع. This is a hierarchy. It's called hierarchy. So if you have hierarchy in the data, we need to deal with it. If we have categorical data, we need to determine what do we need to do. Do we need to transform it? Which method of transformation to use? Is it one-hot encoding, dynamic variable encoding? There are many methodologies that we could use, and we are going to learn some of them once we get into the data. If the data is skewed, positive skewness, negative skewness, positive skewness, negative skewness, what do we need to do about the skewness? What do we need to do about the curtices? How to normalize the data, how to factorize the data, how to binarize, standardize, what to do with correlation analysis, how to aggregate and bin. If we have time series analysis, how to decompose, to extract the data out of the 4 components, the trending, the seasonality, cyclical, and the irregularity. How do we extract the data out of this the component of time series? And the most important part of data preparation is data feature engineering and feature selections. هادو هما أهم steps، يعني خطوات اللي لازم تعطيها وقت كبير جدا خلال عملية تصحيح، عملية إصلاح البيانات. Data preparation and data preprocessing. You have to spend time extracting features, selecting features, determine the features that you are going to use, and finally غادي يكون عندنا بيانات جديدة أحسن من البيانات الأولى. هي بيانات خام، دابا عندنا a better version. عندنا واحد better version of the data that we can use. Okay, let me check the questions again. Okay, طيب, when we are experienced and we have strong knowledge of the activity of the company and we want to find a solution for a problem that we have found, can we work without it? It's always good to work with the team. And as a matter of fact, the business should have an established analytical team. يعني كاين واحد ديبارتمنت خاصة بالتحاليل. يعني هاد الديبارتمنت خاصة بالتحاليل انت عضو فيها. يعني هاد الديبارتمنت يقدر يكون فيها 4 الناس، يقدر يكون فيها 200 واحد. يعني ولكن in terms of the experience هاد الديبارتمنت هذا خص يكون فيها شي واحد اللي كيفهم البيانات، شي واحد اللي كيفهم البيزنس، وخص يكون فيها انت كعالم بيانات. الى يعني دراسات بحال قلتي شي مائده عندها 3 الارجل، الى ترسل لك واحد الرجل ديك المائده لا ما غايش توقف. يعني it's a 3-legged stool. If one leg is missing then the stool is not gonna stand. يعني لازم يعني مهما واخا تكون انت عالم بيانات متميز وفاهم المشكل، لازم دائما يعني تخدم يعني كتيم، لان that is the way it is. What is data? What is exactly data engineering? Data engineering is extracting the data, is building features out of the existing features. مثلا عندنا واحد البيانات فيها ديال المبيعات، عندنا sales data، وعندنا المبيعات ديال الشهر 1 2 3 4 5 all the way to December. عندنا المبيعات ديال 12 شهر. يعني هاد البيانات هذا فيها 12 ديال الكولمز، 12 ديال عمود. يعني 12 عمود ممكن حنا نجمعوها في عمود واحد كتسمى total sales. يعني هاد total sales راه ما عندناش في البيانات، ولكن حنا جبدناه، حنا we engineered, we extracted, we created. That is what we call data engineering. Data engineering is extracting new features out of the existing features. وكاين بزاف ديال الطرق باش كنديروا الانجينيرين، وغادي نعرفوها ان شاء الله تعالى ملي غادي نوصلوا للبيانات. Okay, Mohammed, I hope I answered your question. Tayyib, I also hope that I answered your question. Okay, so now we have a better version number 2 or 3 or 4. It's a better, it's ready. يعني دابا بيانات نقية جاهزة للاستعمال. عاد غادي نطلقوا الفيز نمبر 4 the modeling. فهاد الفيز هذا حنا ديجا عرفنا اشنو هما الابروش اللي غادي نديرو، اشنو هي الطريقه اللي غادي نستعملو. ديجا يعني حددناها من الاول. We already determined our analytic approach from the early beginning. We knew that this project requires prediction. This project requires prediction and descriptive analytics. This project requires only diagnostic analysis. This project does not require any analysis, only does require some visualization. We already knew that from the beginning. So let's assume that we knew that we will be using prediction. So in prediction, there are 2 types of predictions: the regression and classification. It really depends on the target variable. So an under prediction, under regression, and under classification, there are a buffet of algorithms you can try. So حنا باش train a model، باش ناخذوا هذا الالغوريثم هذا ونحاولوا نجربوه، خصنا نقسموا البيانات ديالنا الى قسمين. We have to split the data into 2 parts. واحد الجزء غادي نحاولوا نتعلموا منه، وواحد الجزء اللي غادي نخليو غادي نحاولوا نتيستيو فيه، نجربوا فيه داكشي اللي تعلمنا. So we gotta split the data into 2 parts. The train هاد البارتس كتسمى، البارت الاولاني كتسمى train and set، والبارت نمبر 2 الثاني كتسمى test and set. غالبا الناس كيستعملوا 80% على 20%. يعني 80% 80% of the data will be utilized to train, to learn a model, and the 20% will be used to test whatever model that we learn. بعض النماذج، some of the models that require scaling. علاش كنديروا scaling اللي غادي نتعلموها ان شاء الله تعالى ملي غادي نوصلوا للبيانات. Scaling is used to avoid biases. هي الانحياز. مع الاسف في جميع المشاكل اللي غادي تحاول دير يعني تلقى لها الحل باستعمال الذكاء الاصطناعي، في جميع البيانات لابد غادي يكون واحد الانحياز كاين. حنا كعلماء بيانات نحاولوا نقللوا من ذاك الانحياز. يعني الانحياز يقدر يكون انحياز سياسي، ذاك اللي يعطيك المعلومات مثلا المغرب عطاهم ليك بحب للمغرب، وعطاك معلومات مثلا على الكاميرون لان ما كيبغيش الكاميرون وعطاك شي معلومات خاطئه. لا، قدر يكون الانحياز بشري، يقدر يكون الانحياز سياسي، يقدر يكون الانحياز في البيانات، يقدر يكون الانحياز في طريقه ديالك انت اللي تعاملتي فيها مع البيانات، يقدر يكون الانحياز في المودلز that you choose. So the bias is there. It could be political bias, it could be human bias, it could be bias in the data when you generate the data, it could be bias in the pre-processing method that you utilized, it could be a bias in the algorithms you choose, it could be bias in the parameters of the algorithms that you choose. The bias is there. By your responsibility as data scientist, مسؤوليتك انت كعالم بيانات is to reduce, is to minimize this bias in the data. So some of the models, by scaling the data, we minimize the bias in the data. So then we need to determine the dummy model. Dummy model هو كيفاش منين غادي نبنيو حنا المودلز باش غادي نقارنوها. So we have to determine the base model, that is called base model, اللي غادي نتعلموا ان شاء الله تعالى مستقبلا. Then we are going to train a model in 80%. غادي نبنيو الموديل ديالنا، غادي نجربوا داك الموديل في 80% وغادي نتيستيوه في 20% وغادي نقارنوا يعني في تيست ايفالويت الى وغادي نختاروا غير one model. We are going to choose one best model. منين غادي نختاروا the best model, there are always rooms for improvement. دائما غادي نلقى باقي عندنا حرية تطوير هذا النموذج اللي اختارينه. باقي كاين يعني اماكن ديال التطوير، يعني rooms for improvement. وغادي نمشيو للاوبتيمايزيشن. يعني optimization is we need to tweak the parameters of the best model. يعني the best model غادي نمشيو نحاولوا نطوروا فيه اكثر باش نديروا نلعبوا بالبارامترز ديال الموديل. And finally we are going to deploy the model into production and we are going to look for return of investment. الشركه اللي منين كتهايريك انت ماشي سوق، ما كيهمهاش اشنو البروغرامينغ لانجويج اللي غيستعمل، ما كيهمهاش اشنو الموديل اللي غيستعمل، ما كيهمهاش الطريقه اللي غادي تستعمل بها البيانات ديالك، لا تصلح بها البيانات. So the company that hired you, they really don't care about the programming language you are going to be using. They don't care about the tool. They don't care about the pre-processing techniques that you utilize to prepare your data. They don't care about the type of data you utilize. They don't care about the models that you build. They don't care about the quality of the models that you build. All what they care about is, was the solution, did the solution that you developed fix the problem? واش الحل اللي طورتي لهم واش حل المشكل. They really don't care. If your model does not bring a return, then your model, your solution has failed. يعني واخا انت كعالم بيانات يعني كتستعمل بزاف ديال algorithms، بزاف ديال techniques، at the end of the day يعني who cares. انا ماشي سوقي، استعمل حتى اللي بغيتي تستعمل، المهم انت حل لي المشكل ديالي. هذه هي الخلاصه المهمه جدا جدا اللي خصك ديروا كعلماء بيانات في يعني take it into consideration، يعني ديروها في الحسبان ديالكم. يعني الشركه راه ما كيهمهاش اشنو استعملتي وكيفاش استعملتي، اللي كيهمها واش حليتي المشكل. So at the end of the day, when we have the best model with the best parameter, that best model has to solve a problem. and وغادي دابا غادي نرجعوا لذاك الميجرمنت اللي عطاتنا الشركه في الاول، واش فعلا حققنا لهم داك الشيء اللي بغاو في الاول. So that is the roadmap. Yes, the LAMIA ABT is an acronym for the Analytical Based Table. Analytical Based Table هي عبارة عن أشنو فأنت أشنو كتظن كان نحتاجه في البيانات باعتبار داك الشيء اللي فهمتي من المشكل. Okay, folks, it is 6 o'clock, so I gotta stop here. Unfortunately, so we don't have time to do an introduction to machine learning and introduction to deep learning, unfortunately, so I gotta stop here. فأنا نعطيكم واحد 2-3 دقائق. شوف إذا عندكم شي مشكلة، عندكم شي اقتراح، عندكم anything you want to feedback, yeah, please feel free to share it. So I'll give you a few minutes. رانيا, what is the meaning of skewed؟ غادي نتعلموا إن شاء الله تعالى من وصول البيانات. skewed يعني الانحياز، شي تعبير آخر ديال الانحياز. إن شاء الله نتعلموا هذا منين نوصلوا للبيانات. Okay, folks, any questions, any concerns, any doubt, any feedback? شباب أنا طالبي منكم يعني please I am doing this for free ولكن عافاكم ساعدوني. يعني أنا بغيت اقتراحات ديالكم، بغيت يعني I need you to communicate with me. بغيت الاقتراحات ديالكم، بغيتكم you communicate with me, and also I need you to share the link. عافاكم يعني share اللينك مع الكوميونتي، مع النيتورك ديالكم. خلينا يعني let's share the knowledge, and that's how we grow together. We learn together, we grow together, we benefit together, we build professionalism together إن شاء الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله، ونشوفكم غدا إن شاء الله. Bye everybody.